In the bustling, vibrant heart of Abuja, a city that gleamed like 1,000 jewels under the Nigerian sun, lived a young woman named Zola. Her beauty was like the first light of dawn, soft yet breathtaking, and her spirit was as humble as the dewdrop on a morning leaf. Though her wealth could buy kingdoms, she commanded vast companies, from the towering skyscrapers of Abuja to the bustling markets of Lagos, and even beyond, to the ancient lands of Imo. Zola carried herself with the grace of a village maiden, never once letting the shimmer of her billions blind her to the simple beauty of life. People whispered, eyes wide with wonder, how could one so young, barely 27, have gathered such a fortune? It was not her parents' money, even though the two were rich. Every coin, every diamond, every sprawling enterprise, she had built with her own two hands and a mind as sharp as a newly forged blade. She was the sun around which all men wished to orbit, a jewel desired by every suitor, from the sons of senators to kings of industry. Yet, Zola found no interest in any of them. Wealthy, handsome, powerful, they all came, and she, with a polite smile that hid a deeper secret, always turned them away. No one knew why the woman who had everything chose to live as if yearning for something unseen. One evening, a message arrived, urgent as a drumbeat in the night. Her parents demanded her presence. Zola, usually calm as a still lake, felt a prickle of unease. She visited them, stepping into the grand, hushed mansion that held more than just riches. For who could have believed that the great CEO Zola was a witch? Yes, it ran in their blood, this ancient power. Her father was a formidable Babalawo, his touch capable of unraveling destinies. Her mother, an Iyalode, with eyes that saw beyond the veil, could mend spirits or break them. But Zola, she was different. Unlike them, who often wove misfortune and death into the tapestry of human lives, Zola was a witch of boundless kindness. She valued life, respected every soul, even more than her own. Zola, her mother began, her voice a low thrum, we wonder if you have forgotten who you are. Do you not remember your true nature? You must learn to behave like a proper witch, not like a mere human. Zola sighed, her gaze steady. Oh, mother, everyone chooses how they live their life. So what if I am a witch? I choose to be a good one, not a bad one like you and father. I cannot steal destinies, nor can I take innocent lives. Her father, his eyes glinting with ancient power, scoffed. Witches are not like humans, child. The sooner you understand that, the better for you. He leaned forward. Why exactly did you two call me here? Is it just to remind me to behave like a proper witch by destroying people? She asked, her voice laced with challenge. No, her father replied, a hint of steel in his tone. We have found a match for you. His name is Eric. He is also from our world, a witch of high standing. His parents hold great power among our kind. He will make a good match for you. Zola stirred, disbelief freezing her. Are you serious? You called me here just to tangle me with a witch? Do you have a problem with that? Do you not wish to marry? Her mother asked, her eyes sharp. I will marry, Zola declared, her voice firm. But only when I choose, when I decide, and with a man I pick. And yes, I am not ending up with a witch. Her father slammed his hand on the polished table. You will marry Eric. That is final. Don't give him any false hope, Zola said, her voice chillingly calm. Because I will not marry him. She turned and walked away, leaving her powerful parents simmering in their ancient anger. That very night, Zola sought refuge in the pulsing lights and loud music of a popular Abuja club, seeking to drown out the echoes of her parents' demands. As she swayed to the rhythm, she accidentally bumped into a man. Her eyes met his, and the world seemed to tilt. He was breathtakingly handsome, with eyes that held the quiet strength of a rising sun. But unlike Zola, who possessed every earthly treasure, this man had nothing. He worked at the club, a humble worker trying to save a few coins. His name was Benjamin. Zola, the woman who had no interest in any man, felt a sudden, fierce tug at her heart. She was falling in love, truly, deeply, at first sight. Little did Zola know, a secret as deep as has resided within Benjamin. He was no ordinary man. He was a witch hunter. His family, all of them, were witch hunters, just like Zola and her family were all witches. Benjamin and his family could easily tell when someone was a witch. Benjamin already knew Zola was a witch, but he wanted her to fall deeply in love with him first. That way, he would have a better chance of destroying her and her entire family. The next morning, Zola sat in her opulent office, the CEO of her vast empire, typing away on her computer. The door opened, and a young man walked in. It was Benjamin. He pretended to be looking for a job, just to be close to Zola and make her fall in love with him so he could bring her and her family down. Zola's heart leaped. The universe, it seemed, was smiling on her. Without asking any questions, she offered him a job as her personal assistant. She was happy that the only man she had feelings for was now working so close to her. She promised herself she would do everything to make Benjamin fall in love with her. Benjamin, on the other hand, watched her, a predator cloaked in charm, waiting for her to fall deeper in love with him, so he could achieve his mission. Days melted into weeks, then months. Benjamin never missed an opportunity to deepen Zola's affection and trust. He was a master of small gestures, remembering her favorite flowers and surprising her with them on her desk. He listened intently whenever she spoke, his eyes filled with what seemed like genuine interest, making her feel truly held and understood, something her busy life rarely afforded her. He praised her intelligence and her business acumen, making her feel valued not just for her wealth, but for her sharp mind. When Zola spoke of the pressures of running her vast empire, Benjamin was always there with a comforting word and a strong shoulder to lean on. He would often stay late with her at the office, offering practical help and a calming presence during stressful times. He learned her schedule, anticipated her needs, and always seemed to know when she needed a quiet moment or a cheerful distraction. His attentiveness made Zola feel cherished and secure. She found herself confiding in him about everything, from her biggest business challenges to her smallest personal worries. Benjamin, in turn, offered carefully crafted glimpses into his own humble life, painting himself as a hardworking, honest man with simple dreams, a stark contrast to the often superficial world Zola navigated. This made her trust him even more, seeing him as a genuine soul untainted by the complexities of wealth and power. One sunny afternoon, Zola, feeling deeply in love, visited her parents, and she insisted on bringing Benjamin. As they stepped into the grand mansion, Zola's parents felt a profound unease. Their ancient witch senses screamed a warning, a feeling so strong it was almost a physical pain. They observed Benjamin closely, noticing the subtle way his eyes sometimes flickered with a coldness that didn't match his warm smile, the almost imperceptible tension in his posture. They pulled Zola aside, their voices filled with desperate concern. "Daughter, please listen to us," her mother pleaded, her eyes searching Zola's. "There is something very wrong with this young man. We feel it in our very bones. Stay away from him, Zola. He is not who he seems." Her father echoed her fears, his voice grave. "We have lived long, Zola, and our instincts have never failed us. This Benjamin, he brings a shadow into our home." But Zola, her heart overflowing with love for Benjamin, could not see the danger they warned of. "Mother, father, you are wrong," she said, her voice gentle but firm. "Benjamin is a kind and good man. You only dislike him because he is not one of us, because he is not a witch. You don't understand him." She recounted all the ways Benjamin had been supportive and loving, how he made her feel seen and valued. She saw no hint of deceit in his eyes, no darkness in his heart. His words were always comforting, his actions always caring. She had come to believe that her parents' fears were rooted in their prejudice, their inability to accept a human into their magical world. "Please," she begged, "trust my judgment. My heart has chosen Benjamin, and I know he will bring me happiness." Her parents tried again and again, pointing out small inconsistencies they had observed, the way Benjamin seemed too perfect, too eager to please. They saw how he carefully avoided any direct questions about his own family or background, always steering the conversation back to Zola. But Zola, convinced she had finally found true love, brushed aside their concerns, her trust in Benjamin unwavering. She saw no sign of betrayal in his every action, only kindness and affection. He had become her confidant, her rock, the one person who seemed to truly understand her. She couldn't imagine him ever hurting her. That evening, Zola and Benjamin went to the club where they first met. They danced, lost in their own world, Benjamin's every touch sending shivers of happiness through Zola. He whispered words of love in her ear, his voice low and tender, making her heart swell with emotion. Zola felt utterly, completely in love. Benjamin, holding her close, felt a cold satisfaction. Her love for him was a strong, unbreakable chain, and it was this very chain that would lead her and her family to their doom. Days turned into weeks, and soon, Benjamin, with a grand smile, asked Zola to marry him. He knelt before her, holding a ring that sparkled like 100 stars, and spoke words of love and devotion that sounded utterly sincere. Zola cried tears of pure joy. This was it. This was everything she had ever dreamed of. Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes, she exclaimed, throwing her arms around him, her heart soaring with a happiness so profound she could never have imagined it. She believed, with every fiber of her being, that her future with Benjamin would be a bright and beautiful tapestry woven with love, trust, and endless joy. She had found her star, her guiding light, and nothing her parents said could ever dim its radiant glow. Then came the wedding day, a day meant for joy, but steeped in dread. The grand hall in Abuja was decorated with flowers. The guests were seated, waiting for the groom. But Benjamin was nowhere to be found. Time stretched, agonizingly slow. Zola's heart shattered into a million pieces. They searched the city, her men scouring every corner, but Benjamin had vanished like smoke. The guests waited, then, after a long time, began to leave. Zola and her family had no choice but to call off the wedding. Zola's world crumbled. Her heart was a raw, bleeding wound, yet even in her pain, a tiny spark of worry for Benjamin lingered. Where was he? Benjamin, meanwhile, was not lost. He was at his parents' hidden compound, deep in the outskirts, busy plotting the final, ruthless phase of his plan, the destruction of Zola and her parents. He had only needed her to fall in love, to lower her guard, to ignore her parents' warnings. The wedding was never meant to happen. Their plan was simple: kill Zola first, then lure her parents by claiming she was unwell, capture them, and kill them too. But he needed a believable story for his sudden disappearance, to ensure Zola would not suspect him when he returned. He concocted a tale of kidnapping and a heroic escape, giving himself fake bruises and cuts. That evening, he returned to Zola, a picture of weary heroism. He recounted his fabricated ordeal, showing her the bruises he had inflicted upon himself. Zola, heartbroken but relieved, believed him without question. Her love for him had made her blind to the truth. Midnight arrived, a silent, ominous hour. Benjamin, creeping into Zola's room, brought out a small, glass vial. Inside, a shimmering, deadly liquid pulsed. He raised it, ready to pour it over Zola, who lay in a deep, innocent sleep, unaware of the horror about to unfold. But just as his hand moved, the door burst open. Zola's parents, their faces grim, stood framed in the door. They had been investigating Benjamin ever since their first uneasy meeting, their ancient instincts finally confirming their suspicions. They had followed him, observed his true nature, and discovered his deadly intentions. Benjamin, Zola's father roared, his voice thick with fury. The room erupted. Spiritual power clashed with spiritual power. Benjamin, a skilled witch hunter, fought with fierce determination. Zola's parents, though powerful, were taken by surprise, their magic aimed at protecting their daughter. The air crackled with raw energy, invisible forces slamming against each other. After a brutal, desperate battle, Benjamin, ruthless and single-minded, overpowered them. One by one, they fell. He killed them both, leaving them lifeless on the ground, their magic extinguished. He turned back to Zola, his face cold, the file still clutched in his hand. At that very instant, Zola's eyes snapped open. She saw her parents, lying motionless on the ground, and then her gaze fell on the shimmering liquid in Benjamin's hand, aimed at her. The truth, stark and horrifying, crashed into her soul. His love was a lie. He was a killer. A primal scream tore from her throat. She sprang up, a fury she never knew she possessed igniting within her. This was not the kind witch, but the ancient power of her lineage, awakened by unimaginable pain. She attacked Benjamin, not with spells of destruction, but with raw, spiritual force, foiled by grief and betrayal. They fought, a desperate, silent battle in the blood-soaked room. Zola, driven by the loss of her parents and the agony of Benjamin's deception, fought with a ferocity that surprised even herself. After a long, brutal struggle, she finally defeated him. As Benjamin lay dying, his breath rattling, Zola stood over him, tears streaming down her face. "Even though I am a witch," she whispered, her voice broken, "I have never wronged anyone. I have never killed. You are the first. I have never taken a destiny, never destroyed a future. I fell in love with you, Benjamin, not knowing I was bringing death upon my own family." She fell to her knees, clutching her parents' lifeless hands. She cursed herself, cursed the day she ever met Benjamin, cursed the moment she fell in love with him. If she had never met him, her parents would be alive. If she had simply accepted Eric, the witch her parents had chosen, perhaps things would not have ended this way. But because she wanted something different, something outside her world, it had brought nothing but pain and death. Regret gnawed at her, a bitter, poisonous fruit. Days later, the magnificent Adekunle Plaza stood silent, its CEO gone. Zola, heartbroken and burdened by sorrow, sold all her properties, all her vast companies in the human world. She walked away from the glittering life she had built, returning to the secret world of witches, a place she had once vowed to avoid. There, she found Eric, the same powerful witch her parents had wanted her to marry. He was kind, understanding, and offered her solace in her grief. His eyes held no judgment, only quiet acceptance. In time, Zola, weary but resolute, accepted his proposal. They were married in a quiet, ancient ceremony, a union forged not of passion, but of shared understanding, mutual respect, and the heavy weight of destiny. Zola, the kind which had learned a harsh lesson. Her heart, once open to the human world, now understood the deep, unbridgeable chasm between their two worlds. She had sought a different path, and it had cost her everything. The end. The lesson of the story. Sometimes, the path that seems chosen for you by those who know you best is the safest one. Letting strangers into your heart without knowing their true intentions can lead to great sorrow and loss. When love blinds you to the warnings of those who care, the consequences can be devastating.